nobody got time for that. What's going on, sports fans, NFL fans, New York Giants fans? Back with another banger from GNATION Inside Sports, man. I got Big Blue in the Bronx with me, Mac the Giants fan in the building, and we're going to talk about these free agency rumors, these free agency ideas, and positions of guys who we let go, guys we might let go, how we're going to fill that void, things of that nature, man. Blue crew in the building. Y'all know what it is, man. What's going on, Mac? What's going on, Alex?
What's good? What's good, Lou? Thanks for having me on, bro.
What's up, everybody?
Hey,
What's up? You know, it's always great to come back and talk some Giants football, especially ahead of a free agent period that's going to see a lot of buzz.
Absolutely. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Ron Burgundy.
This guy's funny.
Ron Burgundy in the building. Stay classy. My G, what's going on, man? So it's funny to me that there's a rumor out there that Harbaugh is going to target Linderbaum in this free agency. Now, I know you guys both remember me in that particular draft about Linderbaum. I was all about drafting Tyler Linderbaum for our center. So if Harbaugh gets him to come over here and it improves this line, this run play, this pass protection, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. We got John Michael Smith. He hasn't really lived up to the pick, really, but I still think he's got talent. He can be developed. His rookie contract ain't up. I think he's got 1 year left. But who are some other names you guys have heard about potentially the Giants letting go? I know we've heard of Wandale and some other guys. What have you guys been hearing?
Yeah, I mean, none of it's really a surprise when you look at the list of guys. Supposedly, there's rumors that Micah McFadden could return on a 1 year contract, but you're looking at John Harbaugh's house now. You're not looking at Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll's, and that's where all the rumors are coming out that Cordell Flott's basically a goner. And he played really well last year. He had his best career year, and we know that the Giants aren't bringing him back because, 2 days ago, the Giants were heavily involved in a trade nearly for Trent McDuffie, the former Kansas City Chief. Now, obviously, they were not going to give up what the Rams gave up for him, which I was really surprised. I mean, they gave up their first, second next year, and fifth and a sixth. And Trent McDuffie's a great corner, but I don't know that the Giants were in any such position to do that. And I don't think that they valued that position that high, but it just shows that the Giants will be putting some sort of an investment there, which I think they need, because I think last season kind of showed whether you like the defensive coordinator or not. Obviously, I didn't. It showed that Paulson Adebo was very sketchy at times. Like, he'd have his good games, then he'd have his bad games. And Drew Phillips, he kind of had a sophomore slump last year and got too grabby, was giving up a bunch of touchdowns. It just wasn't a great year for the Giants secondary, and now you're looking at a new defensive system, a new defensive coordinator, different schemes, different tactics, different plays. So it's not really a surprise. I think the Giants will probably put more dogs on this defense. They just released Bobby Okereke, so you're looking at linebacker as well. I know obviously there's the draft with Sonny Styles, Arvo Reese. Everyone has their names. Caleb Downs too. I know that Tremaine Edmonds is a guy that maybe the Giants target, but if they want to take on the contract, which I don't know that they will. Leo Chenal from the Chiefs is a free agent, as you see that team try to get some picks. And also something as well, Kayvon Thibodeau possibly being shopped. That's not really a surprise to me. Personally, I was a guy a year ago that kind of wanted him traded, not for the aspect of, he sucks or anything, but the Giants had some heavy investment in that edge room, and out of the time lapse that these guys were there, Kayvon Thibodeau was not doing the best when you, again, consider how much they invested. Abdul Carter, he got hot towards the end of the year. You kind of give him that rookie excuse. Brian Burns was just absolutely dominant. And then Kayvon Thibodeau, he had a hot start, wasn't necessarily on the sack side, cooled down, and got injured to end the year. And the Giants, I don't think, want to be in a position to give him a contract because he's going to be asking for a lot. And let's be honest, he has not lived up to that 5th overall potential. So your best option is shopping him before any of that stuff kicks in, maybe to a team like San Francisco, maybe getting an extra 2nd or a 3rd round pick. See what you can get there. Don't sell yourself short on him because I still think he could be a solid pass rusher in this league. But for the Giants, 5th overall, he has not played up to it. So those are like the rumors and the stuff that I'm really interested in as far as this offseason goes.
And well, you covered the defense very well, Alex, man. You covered the defense. So I'll just flip into the offense a little bit. Just the one thing that's been the big offensive rumor for the New York Giants is the running back position, the running back room. Kenneth Walker seemingly that's heating up, whereas potentially a landing spot for him that Seattle didn't franchise him. And even the rumors that possibly at number 5, do the Giants pull the trigger on Jeremiah Love if he was still sitting there at number 5, which is a possibility, I guess. My only thing about that is I just think with all the holes on his team, like Alex covered all of them on defense, and then even some of the other ones on the offensive side of the football, I didn't look at the running back necessarily as that one area of great concern. Like, obviously you want to look to upgrade the position, when you can't get an opportunity to, but I just feel like I'd be kind of scratching my head a little bit if we went up to the podium in April and number 5 overall pick selected, like for instance, Jeremiah Love, the number 5 overall pick. That would be a head scratcher for me a little bit. I mean, I know Tracy's not like some all-world guy, and you don't know what you're going to get out of Scattergood coming off the injury. But, I mean, maybe you get Kenneth Walker, I guess, in free agency. You want to look that way and target. I mean, that's fine. I get a player like that, Super Bowl MVP. I guess I can't get mad at that or upset with that. I'm just thinking that I want to really get this offensive line situation, like I said, get that all squared up. We don't know what we're going to be able to do if we can be able to get Illuminor back. Like you said, possibly out there trying to secure like a Tyler Linderbaum, upgrade the center position. Definitely think we still need a little help at guard too. I mean, I'm not really sold on either one of them that much. I mean, Van Roten, he's all right, but he's old. I mean, he's just an older guy. It's time to get ready to move on from him. And obviously, it's other positions. I think that's why the way all this running back talk has been coming out. I'm just confused by. I mean, pretty much like we're going to lose Wan'Dale Robinson. Everything I'm reading, the reports, it's just not going to be able to afford to retain him. And I mean,
which begs the question. If it's basically looking like it's over for Wan'Dale Robinson and the Giants, then you still have Slayton. I mean, and Malik Neighbors, who's not going to be 100% at the start of the season, right? And you can't force feed him the ball. He's going to get re-injured trying to carry the load all by himself. You've got to get a solid number 2, which Darius Slayton is not. Wan'Dale Robinson got over 1,000 yards receiving, even with all the losing that we did. And, he was a good slot receiver for us. So that's a huge void that you're going to have to fill when you have limited options for Jackson Dart to throw the ball to. You have a not 100% Malik Neighbors, so-so receiving Darius Slayton, and an offensive line that's basically on its last leg in a lot of areas. So, you're not setting up the quarterback for the best success unless you go out there and you fix this offensive line and you get some people for Jackson Dart to throw the ball to. Let's not forget Tyrone Tracy is a former wide receiver. Cam Scattergood catches the ball out of the backfield as well, right? But he's coming back off an injury, a serious injury. So maybe if you do get a Kenny Walker from the Seahawks, you bolster that running back room, but you still have to address the offensive line, the tackle position, the guard position, the center position, So is Theo Johnson that guy? We know Harbaugh likes his tight ends, right? Is Theo Johnson that guy? Has he proven to be that guy? I think Bellinger hasn't really been given a shot. I think he was a very good receiver for us. He started out needing work in the blocking, but he improved there. And, I think there's other areas, like Max said, that we need to address first, other than the running back position in the draft at number 5. So I don't know, man. I believe we'll all have a clearer picture of what this team is going to look like after the free agency, at least what the draft is going to shape up to be like after the free agency. But I'm excited about all the rumors, man. Even with the thread between Jackson Dart and OBJ. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think OBJ can come onto this team right now and make an impact. But he did play for Baltimore. He does have a relationship and familiarity with Harbaugh in the system. He would be a good maybe wide receiver coach, something like that, assistant wide receiver coach. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. A guy like OBJ, he got to come over here. If they weren't actually,
he wanted to play.
Really bring him
he
back.
wanted to play.
Yeah, he wants to play, but he also has to understand where he's at in his career now. You know what I mean? You're not that guy anymore. He has to be able to humble himself and understand that maybe you can make a few plays in there.
1-year contract,
but don't come in here thinking you're the superstar, kicking down field goal nets and all, making a spectacle of yourself. I mean, you can't be carrying on like that anymore. He's not that guy anymore. So that's the only thing about a player like him. I get it.
Yeah.
Sure, it'd be cool, get OBJ back, but he's not the OBJ that was here before.
No, hell no.
So he's
12 years removed. But I don't know, man. There's rumors Runyon as well might be gone. So I mean, these are positions that need to be addressed. So while everybody wants the flashy wide receiver or the number 1 running back, you got to have a line for them to run behind. You got to have a line that can pass protect for the wide receiver to even be seen by the quarterback. So it's the trenches, as always. I started my YouTube channel talking about the offensive line and the defensive line, the blitz squad and the hog mollies. So, that's where football is always won, in the trenches. It's a game of inches. We've been hearing that phrase for the longest, and it rings true today because it's a fact. Defense wins championships. Football is won in the trenches, and it's a game of inches. That is a fact. Any great football mind from the beginning of it to now will tell you it's the same thing. They've tried to do all the West Coast, the Air Coryell and all this other. If you can't run the ball, you can't do nothing. If you don't have a solid defense that can stop the opposing team, you can't do nothing. You got to be able to win in the trenches.
Yeah.
And our offensive line has been lackluster for 12 years at least.
Yeah. And you're looking at a totally new – I mean, I don't know what their system's going to be, but you're looking at a new offensive line scheme, which draws multiple questions. I mean, thank God Josh Azudu probably is not coming back. That guy was absolutely –
I don't know how he stuck around that long.
Well, when you drafted him in the 3rd round and you don't want to admit your mistake, that's kind of what happens. What is this? There's a lot of questions. What does this offensive line coach, what does this head coach think of Marcus Bowe? Did they see enough of him, on the tape to say, okay, this guy could be something, or is he just a reserve? I mean, to my knowledge, he didn't get any time at guard last year. And if I'm going to be completely transparent, I don't think he's shown too much to say, okay, we're going to enter the season with him at right tackle. Unless he's got some improvements that we're not seeing or something like that, I don't endorse that personally. So Illuminor would be on my list to resign. As you mentioned about John Runyon, also Greg Van Roten's a free agent. So you have 2 holes that you probably need to plug. And the Giants don't have a lot of cap space. The Giants don't also have a 3rd-round pick. So Trading Thibodeau for a 3, that could be an asset that you get via trade. Do something like that. But I just did some math on over the cap, and if you trade Thibodeau, cut John Runyon, cut James Hudson, Graham Gano, Roy Robertson-Harris, and Devin Singletary, and Chris Board, you're only up to $54 million. Let's be honest, that's not a lot of money. You only really have 44, maybe even less to finagle with, because you need at least $10 million on your draft class, no matter if you have a third-round pick or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tricky trade that, thank God we got John Harbaugh, because I know he's going to coach the hell out of this team. But I mean, John Runyon, again, he was good for the time being. He was very average, and the Giants can definitely make upgrades there, or they could stick with him and see what this new O-line coach thinks and just fill in the right guard spot and resign a Luminor. And there's some decent free agents at guard. Wyatt Teller was a name that has been brought up. Kevin Zeitler, though he's 35, you may want to stay away from him. Ethan Pocic and James Daniels, those are 2 other guys. Zion Johnson potentially. Tevin Jenkins is a name that has been thrown around, which I happen to like, but I don't know how much money he's going to get. And I know there's some injury concerns there. And then you have a lot of low-risk, high-reward guys, which, to be honest with you, I don't know that the Giants probably want to lean. I think another guy, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, was with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to fact check myself because he could be a target. Yeah, he was. Tristan Castillo. He started out with the Ravens, and then he moved on to the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Lions. He's a guy that the Giants may bring in to play either guard or center. And it's not the highest value, but it's going to be familiarity and scraping with what you have. So I think Lou is right on about, the flashy targets and whatnot. I think the Giants also bit themselves in the ass by carrying on this Slayton project too long. They re-signed him, and after a while, it was like, okay, it was a fun ride. They re-signed him in 2023. They gave him a 2-year contract. And the amount of drops he had last year, especially in that Saints game, completely awful. Absolutely awful. And the Giants had not won anything with this guy to sit there and say, okay, we should bring him back. Like, he could probably be a very decent number 2, number 3 on another team.
Look, this is my point of contention. Wan'Dale Robinson had 1,000 yards. You want to let him go. Darius Slayton has never had 1,000 yards receiving with the New York Giants.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson the last 2 years has cooked. Last year, and I'm referencing, and I say last year, I mean 2024. He did pretty well considering he was the second most targeted on the team next to Malik Neighbors, and we know Daniel Jones only locked down on one guy. So Wan'Dale Robinson was getting targeted a lot. And then 2025, I mean, Slayton was dropping passes left and right. Theo had a rough start. Malik Neighbors tore his ACL. So he had no choice, and it ended up being good for him because he's going to get paid by some other team, probably Tennessee, which, to be honest, I semi-understand because of Brian Dable, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. So in that regard, I mean, yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. And that's another thing. Like, how do you replace that? You got to go in the draft. I don't know that I'm down to.
And when you only have 6 picks,
right? And the one slot receiver that comes to my mind, which I don't know that the Giants should even consider paying, is Alec Pierce from the Colts. He's a good slot receiver, no doubt, but I don't know. There's just a lot of questions.
If you would even entertain Alex Pierce in a sense, though, it would almost really make no sense to bring in Juan. I mean, I think Alex Pierce is going to cost more than Wan'Dale would anyway. I mean, so that to me would be crazy all in itself. That Darius Slayton thing is a great point, though. I mean, because honestly, I don't think necessarily the Giants don't want to retain Wan'Dale Robinson. I think it's just more or less they probably just flat out aren't going to be able to afford him. More or less, it's just business. I mean, and that's kind of unfortunate. They put themselves in that kind of situation because, like you said, hanging on to players like a Slayton and such, that it just haven't been doing anything for you. Now you got a productive player that's going to have to watch another productive New York Giant. We're going to pretty much walk out the door. It looks like so. This just seems to be that same old story. But like you said, we got a coach in here now that at least hopefully can coach the talent up on this team and get this team back to being competitive again.
Somebody actually said in my comment section, like who? When we was having that discussion on that video we made, Mac, where I was talking about so many players have left here and gone on elsewhere and been productive and won Super Bowl titles with other teams, but look like bust here because we didn't have the coaches to develop them and get them to the next level so that we could see them play at their best. And they went elsewhere and won Super Bowls. And somebody in my comment section was like who?
Like, yo, you didn't see Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl like a year ago?
Didn't they see Xavier McKinney? What was the other cornerback that won with the Rams that played for us? The DB when the Rams went to the Super Bowl 2 years prior?
Shoot.
Didn't they just watch Leonard Williams and them boys win the Super Bowl? Julian Love. You know what I'm saying? Like all these guys left Saquon Barkley and won Super Bowls. Daniel Jones was in MVP conversations until he got hurt last year with the Colts. You know what I'm saying? So, we had coaches in here that could not develop these players and get them to the next level and put them in the positions to win because they were too wrapped up in trying to prove that my system works rather than developing the system around the talent that they had.
Yeah. Long-standing virus in this organization.
Absolutely. So that point about Marcus Joe, too, I was going to say that point was actually spot on as well. Just wanted to mention that because I think I liked a lot of what I saw from him this season, but I still don't think he's quite ready to be thrown out there at right tackle. Not right away. I think he needs to get stronger. A lot of the problems I saw him have was just kind of just getting bullied around a little bit. He needs to definitely get stronger. He has good footwork from what I know. I think that's pretty good. Like, something that was a breath of fresh air considering we had to deal with watching Evan Neal over the last few years. But he just needs to get stronger and be able to be a little better, stronger, hold up better in the run game. And I think another year of development behind, some of these guys, like an Illuminor, if we can hold on to him, or whoever it may be, can do him a lot of justice instead of just throwing him out there. But I still like him, down the line in the future, can be a part of this going on. But that's just right now, I like him to kind of still bring him along the way they're trying to, at least. Because I think that he'd be doing him a disservice if you throw him out to the Wolves right now. He still has some work to do. So I definitely did agree with your point on him. But I like a lot of what I saw from him as well, especially considering he's a fifth-round pick. You never know what you're going to get from guys like that, from day 3 guys. So I think he does have a potential to have a future here.
I will say this. I'm more excited this season than I've been in a while for football. We have a proven head coach, a no-nonsense, disciplined coach who we know respects the run game and defense. So, listen, I feel like old school Giants football is coming back. We know that we got a fullback. A fullback. We have a fullback. We are going to run with power, which is something that if they do make this move, which is crazy to me, but if they do acquire Kenny Walker from the Seahawks in free agency and pair him with Cam Scatterboo and Tyrone Tracy Jr., you got a triple threat in the backfield. Quadruple, because Dart can run, right? And then you fix this wide receiver position. Get Malik Neighbors, somebody opposite of Malik Neighbors, to be that true number 2. Get rid of Slayton, work out a deal with Wandell, and, fix this O-line.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at some wide receiver names. I think there's a couple to throw in there. Obviously, we know Mike Evans is probably not coming to us. Juwan Jennings from the 49ers.
Don't nobody want Mike Evans, geriatric wide receiver.
Hey, listen, he's got 1,000 yards every single season.
I'll tell you, right now, he's better than everybody on our team, not named Malik Neighbors.
Right. But you have Juwan Jennings, who probably will get a payday. A guy that I would look at who's got lower value. He just came off a Super Bowl, and he could do a lot of different things. Rashid Shaheed. He's not going back to Seattle. I don't know how much he's asking for, but he's a guy that can play different alignments, and he's also a kick returner. And I know we just re-signed Gunnar Olszewski, but he's a guy to very much consider. And there's a few other names you could throw out there. I think maybe you consider something low risk, high reward if you don't get him. Like if I'm talking the slot receiver, I'm thinking John Mechie. He didn't have bad production with the Jets last year, but the Jets were just an absolutely embarrassing football team. So why not throw him in the mix? Low risk, high reward type thing, and then you kind of move off of that. So it's not a packed wide receiver free agency. Not ideal, but I think the Giants at least have to come out with one, because whether you value Slayton is, valuable receiver or not, or somebody you could put on the field, Malik Neighbors ain't 100%, and you don't want to be going in. And who's our backup slot guy on the roster right now?
Well,
I don't know.
Bobby Gunner, I guess.
No. That's why I'm saying you got to keep Wandell. If anything, you let go of Slayton and address the wide receiver in the draft.
Right. Absolutely.
You have a 37th overall pick in the second round. Get your linebacker or your defensive tackle, with that first pick, or make some maneuvers, maybe move back 2 spots, get some more draft capital, maybe pick up a 3rd round pick in that trade for this year as well, and address that position that way. But I mean, in this free agency, we've got to fix the interior offensive line. And if they can come out of free agency with a Linderbaum and Kenny Walker, oh baby. Shit.
I mean, about the receivers out there, it's kind of thin in free agency. Honestly, I mean, it's pretty thin.
That's why I would rather address the wide receiver in the draft. Keep Wandell. We got Malik Neighbors, and draft number 2, maybe number 1 receiver opposite of Neighbors.
I mean, if you lose like Wandell, because I honestly don't think we're going to be able to sign one. I just don't think we're going to be able to sign him back. From everything all the reports and stuff that I've been reading, it just doesn't look likely. But you got Romeo Dobbs out there potentially from Green Bay. I mean, it should be a lot cheaper. I mean, you can come in and get in the slot. I don't know how you guys feel about him. There's just not many options out there in the free agency, and considering with the draft, we have so many needs in the draft, things that need to address with the limited amount of picks we have. It's not necessarily guaranteed we're going to be able to just go out there and get a receiver in the draft. So we're going to definitely do some things, figure some things out.
That's why I'm okay with moving back from number 5 to say maybe number 7, number 8, acquire some more picks, give us some room, still get a top premier player at 8 overall, and then
that's the thing about that. It's right now where we're sitting at number 5, like they say, it's a few. I'm saying some couple blue chippers in this draft, man. But if we're sitting in a position to be able to get a Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles or something, you take the risk of moving back even a couple of spots where you might.
Well, you still got an Arvell Reese, and you still got
Reese is not leaving. I think Reese is going in the top 3, man. I think he's okay. He's out of there. Top 3.
Okay, so if he's in the top 3, right? then that would possibly leave what? Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles, because they're not going 1, 2, and 3, right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
So okay, Jeremiah Love is going before them.
Maybe you never know. People are funny with this running back thing, man. Teams are funny with the running back.
Probably you're looking at as Lou was going over the draft order. You're probably looking at 1 or 2 of David Bailey or Ruben Bain going in the top 4 before us.
Yeah.
So you can still possibly trade back from 5 to 7 and still get at least maybe a Downs or a Styles there and still get another pick in the 3rd round or a late 2nd round pick and find you a receiver in the 2nd round, because you have a 37th pick. And if you can acquire a 2nd or 3rd round pick in that trade, then you would have 2 2nd round picks. And I'm sure you can find a receiver somewhere in that 2nd round and still address some of the needs that we have, and try to make this team competitive this season. Because, look, we're not that far away when you think about it. We're pessimistic sometimes because we've had over a decade of, foul play. But we got some hungry guys, man. We got Jackson Dart. We got Malik Neighbors. We got Cam Scatterbull. We got Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Dex, who I believe is going to come back healthy with a chip on his shoulder because he's heard all the noise people been talking about, and Darius Alexander, who I believe is starting to come into his own. But we got some guys that can, make some noise, man.
It's not about the talent. It's not necessarily about the talent. I think because the reality is this New York Giant team was just a better coach away last season from being right in the wild card mix. You know what I mean? Just a better coach away. Like this
6 fourth quarter losses that we had leads in. That if we had a real coach, we would have won.
Some of those games is just inexcusable to lose. Some of those football games that they lost last season. It's just I still get nightmares over the Denver game. Still,
the Denver Broncos game, bro. God Almighty, bro.
I've never seen anything like that before. Collapse like that before, and so.
That is when they're not playing for that coach.
There's a reason for optimism. It's a reason for optimism a little bit, but at the end of the day, this team needs to learn how to win again. Now, especially the veterans, the ones that have been here through the losing, like the Dexter Lawrences, the guys that've been here for long. If Slayton is going to be a part of this still, guys like him that have been here for a while, man, that they all they know is losing. I mean, that's it. They don't know anything else. They got to learn. They got to learn how to win. They've been winners since their college days. You know what I mean? Like that's so they got that's what has to be taught to this football team again. And I think John Harbaugh is the guy to do it, man. Like I said, I support whatever he's doing. Even though some of the like I said, the running back stuff that we're talking about right now, that still seems a little bit off to me a little bit. But at the end of the day, if that's his vision, who am I to argue with it, man? So I'm more curious. I'm curious to see how you can turn this thing around, man. And I'm also curious about the Matt Nagy, Greg Roman relationship and how that's going to all work out on the offensive side of football as well. I mean, obviously Roman with the big time at the run philosophy, and then Matt Nagy, the pass-happy offensive coach. So it was just kind of curious how they're going to be able to find that fine medium and run this offense smoothly, man, and make it work.
Well, I think that's why he did it that way, to have a checks and balances system, accountability system to keep everybody honest, so to speak. With all, we got to remember too that now you got a lot of media and a lot of people always ask about the analytics and the analytics and the analytics. So, throughout the course of the last 25 years, football has changed, and you've got to adapt to the times, so to speak, for PR and media appearances and questions and comments with the media and all of that stuff. But we know behind the scenes what wins games and what's tried and true, and what's just theoretical. So I believe that he brought them two together to marry the run game and the pass game and really try to give this offense a solid, well-rounded approach right? Where we can be productive in the air, we can be productive on the run. You've got a plan for us from multiple facets to try to stop us, which makes it hard and puts the pressure on the defense. So I think he's got a plan, man. And I believe I'm back on my shit, man. 11-6, y'all know what it is. You heard?
11-6.
You ain't gotta say it. You ain't gotta say it. I'm gonna say it for everybody. 11-6. I'm back on my bullshit. Let's go. Shit. We ain't had a real coach years. I've been screaming that for the longest. We've been hiring first-time coaches, and a guy who was coached once and bombed. And Pat Sherman. So we had McAdoo, we had Joe Judge, we had Brian Dable. I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm tired. So I'm glad we got Harbaugh, a proven guy, a guy who we know is no nonsense, man. He's got some of the recipes, some of the ingredients for the recipe. I believe in the free agency and this draft together combined, he's going to put together a finished product that can be competitive this year. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but we will be in the playoff discussion.
I do believe we'll be a competitive football team. I do wholeheartedly believe that. I don't know how many wins it's going to amount to, what kind of year it's going to end up being, but I do believe we won't be out there getting embarrassed like we were a lot of times this season and losing games the way we were losing games.
And in part of because of Harbaugh, and the other part because of these young kids' heart and mentality. Cam tries to run through you. He's trying to win. Jackson Dart is putting it all on the line. He's trying to win. Malik Neighbors is trying to win. Like, these guys want to win. When you put that type of energy together, it becomes infectious. The rest of the locker room feeds off of it. When you got a true leader of men at the helm like John Harbaugh, it spreads. It becomes a culture. Things turn around. This is the recipe for a team that could be good for 6 to 8 to maybe 10 years. If this is dealt with properly, we're looking at potentially 2 more Lombardis in that case, baby, in the next 6 to 8 years or so.
I'm excited if Stanley can come back healthy. I mean, that guy he was on pace to be a touchdown machine. I mean, he was on pace. He was a terror.
Absolutely.
And
he's running hard too.
Inside the 5, he would not be denied that getting to that goal line, man. He was on pace to do some really special things. I mean, he scored 4 touchdowns alone against the Eagles between the two matchups, man. So I mean, that guy, he was a terror.
He wants to win, and he tries to run through you. He ain't scared of contact. Like, I'm gonna run through you.
And he plays with a chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean? People always question, can he do this? Can he do that? His ability. So he plays with that. He has that chip on his shoulder, man. I can't hope he comes back fully healthy and give us what we saw, a little bit more what we saw this past season, what he was getting ready to really develop into, man. I think it would have been something special if he could have stayed healthy.
But guys, I know you guys got things to do, man. I appreciate you guys tapping in, man. Guys, leave your questions, thoughts, opinions, and ideas in the comment section, man. As always, we'll get back to you. Make sure you go subscribe to Alex Big Blue in the Bronx. Make sure you go subscribe to Mac, the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan. You heard? And if you haven't subscribed to GNATION Inside Sports already, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Where you been at? What rock you been hiding under? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. It costs you absolutely nothing to push that button, man. But until next time, man, y'all know what it is. Mac, take us home, baby.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate y'all tuning in once again. Put me on the spot with that one, Lou. Tuning in. Good to see you, Alex, as always, talking football with you, man. Lou, always a pleasure, man. It's your boy, Mac, the Giants fan, here with Big Blue, Alex and Big Blue in the Bronx. Lou with GNATION Inside Sports, man.